Hello everyone, my name is Akash Sawant and welcome to this learning session on chapter 2 of Clean Code. Today we will be discussing the meaningful names, why they matter, how they impact code readability and how to apply this principle in real world project. Think of this chapter as foundation for writing clear understandable code that can be easily maintained and scaled. Okay, we will explore the key takeaways from this chapter and I will share the practical insights and examples using Python, JavaScript, Kotlin, and Dart. So we will also look at the real world use cases from the popular apps like ETMoney and the Zepto. So what are the key aspects you need to consider from the clean code book? So let's get dive into the with the story. All right. So let's get dive into the story so that will make more greater sense. So imagine you are working on a project. Okay. Imagine you are working on this particular project. That project may be anything. That may be a web application, that may be a app project, that may be anything. Okay. You are inheriting this code base from another developer. Okay. You are inheriting this code base from another developer. Okay. This is another developer you are inheriting. Okay. So the variable names this developer he has used understand like the core understanding. Okay. So variable names what he has took, right? Variable names. So this variable names are like cryptic, like we you will be not able to understand what this particular variable is all about, a1 b2 c2 something like that. Okay, so this, if you observe clearly this variable names, right, these are the vaguely written, right, vaguely named, right, so they are no make any, this not make any sense, this variable for what purpose is all about, right. Even every change you try to make, that make breaks or something else, so because you can't figure out what is going on, what this particular variable is all about, where it has used, what this particular variable is looking at it, where there is a dependency on that. All right. So I hope this makes lot broader sense about it, right? So you can't figure out what's going on. Now we'll try to understand. Now compare the we will compare to the code where variables and functions are named intentionally. Let's consider another part, another developer. So he is talking about the variables and functions which are named, all right, which are named for the purpose, okay, named intentionally. So customer address. Consider this particular thing, customer address, right? Customer address, customer address, total amount, total amount, right? Then if you consider another part of the things is like fetch order status, right? Fetch order status. Are you able to understand that? What is the intention of that, right? I hope this makes a very understanding, right? Where you can guess the purpose of the code without needing any extra comments, right? Purpose, what is the purpose of that particular variable, you will be able to understand. This is a power of a meaningful name. Okay, this is a power of meaningful name. This is what we will be going to discussing all about. Okay, so I hope this gets clear picture and clear idea about the story, right, why this particular chapter is talking about meaningful names, right? So this is all about the thing we will be going to discuss. So what will be the agenda of this today's video? Like we will be going to breaking down the various key aspects, right? So let's get dive into the first agenda. So what we'll be going to discuss in this particular video. Okay, so why meaningful name? Why meaningful name matter? Well, that will be going to discuss why meaningful name matter. Then second, we'll be going to understand how to write intention revealing intention revealing names. In the third aspect, we will be going to understand avoiding disinformation in code. Avoiding disinformation in code. Avoiding disinformation in code. And in the fourth part, we will be going to discuss about the cost of bad naming practice. Cost of bad naming practice. Bad naming practices. Okay. Bad naming practices. And in the fifth one, we will be going to discuss about good versus bad code practice. We will be not focusing on the in terms of a real world broader aspect. We'll try to understand that. Okay. So that it makes sense. Okay. Good good will compare the good code and the bad code. Okay, that is only I am trying to consider good code versus bad code. Okay, in terms of a real world example. Okay, so this is what we will be going to discuss this particular part. Then in the last we will be going to discuss about how to apply these principles in real world. Okay, this principles in real world use cases. Real world use cases. Use cases. Okay, so now we will be going to discuss about why meaningful name matter. Okay, so now first we'll be going to discuss about the first topic. So let's get dive into this particular first topic, that is why meaningful name matter. Okay, so first topic, first try to understand why meaningful name matter. First of all, meaningful name matter. I'm warning you folks, if you are watching this particular video, just try to watch fully. Don't watch in between. I've seen lot of analytics there, like you are watching in between 1 minute video, then you are going and skipping this particular video, you are closing this particular video, skipping and going to watch another video. Okay, if this is a possible case, don't watch this particular video. Okay, try to watch anything or any kind of a reels. I'm just telling this particular very things to this is very matters a lot if you wanted to become a professional developer that make an impact in the particular startup or in particular kind of an MNC. So watch this particularly very carefully. Okay, so let's get dive into this particular things. So now why meaningful name matters. Okay, so in software, right, whatever the software you are building, right, uh, in this particular book, in software, like in the software, names are everywhere. Okay, names are everywhere. Names are everywhere. What this particular mean by that? Names are everywhere. So that may be the wherever you declare the variable, wherever you declare the function, wherever you declare the classes, the names comes into the picture. Classes, files, directories. This is a particularly the chapter 2 of a clean code focuses on how critical is to give those names and intentionally revealing the name meanings. Okay, your code should be self-explanatory, so that if someone sees your code, right, they should understand what a variable or function is doing by looking at the same. Like what this particular purpose of this particular variable, what is this particular purpose of the function. Okay, so it is just by looking at it is looking at its name. Okay, so if you name like x, y, or z, it's almost impossible to understand what is happening, what is the intention of that particular variable. We'll not able to understand, right? What's happening without extensive comments. However, when you choose the names like understand like this, like if you write xyz, this does not reveal any intention, right? It does not reveal any intention here in this particular example. Okay, so if you give the name like let's suppose elapsed time in days, so elapsed time in days, what it is intentionally telling. So what is the remaining time? It is talking about that, right? So if you just talk about total revenue, so what it is talking about? It is talking about the total revenue, right? This is revealing some intention, right? So this code becomes explicitly understandable and readable, right? So this is what the author is able to tell about this particularly why meaningful name matter. So, if you wanted to understand this particular concept in the very basic understanding, very basic things and terminologies, so I will let's try to get dive into the concept in the very basic understanding. Okay, all right. So let's get dive into that. So whatever I have talked about recently, this is previously it was just a disclaimer. What is this particular in the book? What they are talking about? So now what we'll be going to understand, we will be going to understand in the layman terms. Okay, what this terminologies the author is able to say it with the particular examples, so that you will be able to apply it in your own code base and everywhere. All right. So let's get dive into that. Let's say you are writing a function to calculate the number of days a file has existed. Using a variable name d might technically work, okay, but it does not reveal an intent. Let's suppose you are writing a variable called as int d. Okay, let's take a example of a C, right? But this d does not reveal any intent. It does not, like, technically it can work. Okay, this program may work here. Okay, but the thing here, it should reveal something intentionally what this particular variable is all about to tell, right? So this is a particular thing you need to understand that. So let's suppose instead using a name, like we can use like days since creation. Makes immediate clear, right? So day immediate since creation. Immediate since creation. What this particular variable, are you able to understand, right, folks? So what I am trying to say here, immediate since creation. Okay, so now let's take an example of simple example of a Python so that you will be able to understand what this particular code is all about. Okay, so we'll try to compare what is a bad code convention and what is a good code convention so that you will be able to understand comparison between them. All right, so let's get dive in the bad code and the good code so that you will be able to understand what this particular is all about. Okay, so how you will be going to define the function, folks, right? In the bad code, I will just give you an example what the mistakes that you do. So what you will do in bad code, you will write it, you will define the function and you will write the function name as a calculate and you will pass the parameter as d. Okay, tell me in the comment section, folks, what this particular d about to tell. You don't know what this thing is happening, right? I will just return d into 24 into 60, right? So if you are able to see another developer has written this particular code, are you able to understand what is this d is all about, right? And another thing, what this calculate able to do it, it is not revealing anything. Calculate means what? It does not revealing anything, right? So how we can modify this, convert this bad code into the good code? So what we can do is instead of writing calculate, we can refactor this function name calculate into this. Okay, calculate days. Okay, calculate days to minutes, right? Is it make sense, folks? Is it make sense? Right? Instead of d, we can make pass as a parameters like days, right? This is making an intentionally revealing an intent, right? So this is a particular we have to understand. So what you will do instead of d, you will be returning days into 24 into 60, right? I hope this like you have noticed how the second version makes it's very clear, right? Days is become converted into the minutes. No need to extra comment. No need to write any extra comments here. So whatever you write the meaningful, it should be meaningful, right? Whatever the function you will write, it should be meaningful. So any developer sees the function particularly, so he is able to understand. So you don't have to write a extra comments, right? So this is a particular thing. So now next thing we'll try to understand avoiding disinformation. Okay, so we'll try to understand avoiding disinformation in code. Disinformation in code. Disinformation in code. Okay, avoiding disinformation in code. So, in avoiding disinformation in code, what will happen? I will just try to explain. So, one of the worst things you can do is in a coding is to create a disinformation by using misleading or ambiguous names, right? So, what happens basically, for example, using account list, when the object is not even a list, it creates a confusion for the others, right? It is not returning any list. You are telling that it is a list. You are naming it as a account list. So it makes ambiguous, it will be duplicates, and it will be create a confusion among the developers, right? So what you will try to understand this information is nothing but ambiguous and confusion. I'll try to understand it as an ambiguous and confusion in the code in the code for other developers. So try to understand. For other developers, not account list is not serving the purpose. Okay, not serving the purpose of the task. Okay, purpose of task. All right, of task, not serving the purpose of the tasks. Okay, I hope this makes you understood what is this all about. Now we'll try to understand about a real world use case of the Zepto. Okay, everyone knows, right? Like Zepto is a fast delivery, grocery delivery app. Startup deals with many order processing functions. Let's compare the bad code and the good code in the JavaScript for the Zepto order processing system. Okay, like we'll try to understand what is a good code, bad code. Try to understand and try to tell me what is a bad code and good code. Try to just pause the video in the like I have given overall idea. Zepto is a order processing system. So how the bad code in the JavaScript you can write, right? So let's try to write the bad code now, right? Let's try to write the bad code so that we'll be able to understand what we are writing, right? So what I will do is I will write a function, okay, process, and I will write it as O, okay, something I am writing, okay. I'm just writing if of order of 0 which is equal to 1, then I will just write process or flag the order, right? Just a pseudocode I am writing, folks. So try to understand what I am writing. Okay, I'm not writing a syntactically JavaScript code, but I am writing a pseudocode here. So are you able to understand what I am doing here? What is? Can you just visualize here, folks, for a few minutes? Visualize so that we can convert this particular code into the good code. Try to visualize it. What can be a refactor for this? Process means what? First question I have to ask you guys is what is a process means? What is a process is able to say, right? What is O is able to say, right? There are a lot of confusion. What are that can be done that can be refactor. So what we can refactor this function as process order, right? So we can just change it as a process order. So instead of O, we can change it to order, right? So this is a common things that we can change it. So what we can do here is instead of equal to manually hard coding, we'll just try to write it as is flagged or not. Okay, this functions we can use it. I hope this got a clarity. So in a bad example, what is happening? There is a no context. What is O is doing? What is the process is doing? Then what is O of 0 equal to 1 is able to do it. So we don't have any understanding about it. So in second example, what it make very much clearer, right? So is flag explicitly reveals the purpose of the check, right? So what is a particular, it is processed or not. If it is processed or not, then we have to just check the condition that it you should be done. Okay, I hope you got the clarity. So now we'll try to take a bad code practices, try to understand. We understood about the good code practices, bad code practices. So how you have to consider, right? So now let's take a very practices that we have to inculcate as a developer, right? So let's take a simple examples practices. From this particular book what we have to inculcate. If it is a Python, right? What a bad code practice that you can generally do, right? So you will not write an intention, right? So if you are writing a function def cals what AB is conveying. Okay, so A comma B, you will return the A plus B. As a beginner, you will do this particular mistake, right? I'm just like for the by mistake I'm writing. So you are writing this thing. What this AB will do, right? So how we can change it? Calculate total price, right? Calculate, calculate total price, right? Instead of like A and B, we can write as a product price and tax, right? So we have a product price and also a tax, right? These two things should be there. So if you considering the use case based upon that, it may change. Okay, so then you can return product price plus tax. Okay, so you can return this product price PP plus tax. Okay, so I'm just using the short form folks to make you understand. This is a practice that you have to do. So, like in the dart example, what you can do. So I'm just giving a dart example, folks. So I will limit to two example. It is your homework now. Like for the JavaScript, what is a bad code to take it? How we can improvise it. So now I will just do for the dart now. For the dart now, consider now for the classes I am considering now. Okay, so class C I'm just writing as int t equal to 0, right? What this, how we can convert it, folks? We are not able to understand what t is doing, what c is doing, right? So what we can do, we can refactor it with like class with meaningful intention driven names called as class customer, and customer what that attribute can have, we can put it here. Okay, so in total purchase, right? In the context of the customer, that will be the purchase. Okay, so we can put it like this basically, folks. Okay, I hope this makes gave you the clarity, right? So like the same way you can do it. Okay, just so now how we can apply this principle? Okay, how we can apply this principles in particular case study, that is ETMoney. Okay, so in ETMoney, what happens? Like it is a popular financial app in India. Imagine they are calculating the total interest earned by the user. Bad code example might name the variable X with a good that would use a total interest earned, right? So just try to. I will just give you an example in the ET money example. Like it is a, imagine you are calculating. You are a software developer in ET money, ETMoney particular application that you are building and writing a code that you wanted to calculate the total interest earned by the user, right? So, like bad code, if you are writing the name of a variable as X, that is not revealing anything. So, in good code example, what you wanted to write, total interest earned. Okay, I hope you understood, right? So in ATM money, what is like we have to write a total interest earned. So this is a like good way of writing. Like this is a variable that it signifies that it is total interest earned by the user, right? So in the bad code, what happens? Let's suppose for like urgently you have to shift the features. What you will do, you will what you will write, you will write a function, right? Calculate, but in hurry you will write this particular thing, right? This x you don't know what is able to do it, so you will return this x into 0.05. Okay, I'm just giving an example, folks. Okay, so you are writing. So how you will you refactor it? You will refactor it by calculate total interest. Okay, so this particular if you do it, calculate total interest and amount invested. Okay, so if you do like this, so that makes more sense out of it. Okay, so I hope this makes more sense out of it. So I hope you got the clarity about the how good code and the bad code all about, and the same way you have to do it. So why this matters? First of all, why this matters in AI ML software or any software specifically in fields like AI and ML, okay, or even general software development, having a clear descriptive names helps to reduce the confusion and improves the productivity. In AI ML models, naming the variables like input data, trained model, uh, or accuracy score ensures that future developers or even yourself can revisit the code and without needing the once again go through the code and what's that particular code is able to do. This is all about. So this cleaner, the cleaner your names, easier to scale, refactor and maintain your code. Okay, final thoughts: planning your clean code whenever you are building a software, right? Whenever you are building a software, whether it is a trading app, whether it is a grocery delivery system or a financial app, so it is crucial to plan for a clean code. This means that meaningful names from the start takes the extra time to come, right? So start with the descriptive, intentionally names for your variables, functions, class name. It will pay off in the longer run. All right. So conclusion is that itself, like thank you. Conclusion is that write a descriptive names and intentionally reveal names. Okay, so thank you for joining me for the today's session. We are learned about how the chapter 2 of a clean code is emphasized, importance of the meaningful names. We have to write a meaningful name, clean code, and understandable and maintainable code. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, so for more insights into writing a clean code, maintainable code, and to the professional code, keep let's keep the coding clean and professional. That's it from my side. If you like this particular videos and content from this channel, you learned something, just hit a subscribe and hit a bell notification to get such more relevant content. That's it about this video, folks. I hope you enjoyed this particular video. The videos was so long. Okay, so I hope this valuable content, this content help you a lot. Okay, that's it about this particular video, folks. We will meet you in the next time.